Hello and welcome back to Amy's Haven Designs Flosstube. I'm Amy and I have a few things to show to you this week. I think this will be a shorter video. I've been so busy stitching and not busy writing down some of the other bits and pieces I usually include. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, so I am very excited to announce that I have some new designs in my Etsy shop. And I'm also going to show you some of the other things that I've been working on. I've been back from my trip to the US for 3.5 weeks now. And I've just been stitching like crazy. I did... And with my last video, I said that I had made an order from Sassy Jack's and it arrived at the house I was staying the day after I left the US. But I have high hopes that I have a relative who might be coming to visit me here in the UK soon and maybe can bring me the wonderful things I purchased, because I'd love to show you and I'd love to get stitching some of them. I ordered some fabric and some charts. So that was sad that I missed it just by a day, but I still have plenty of things to get on with, so, you know. Okay, let's press on. I have been doing bats and boos. So if you saw my last video, you saw that I bought the project bag and I am behind the stitch along. Let's see, let me hold it up the right way, even though, okay, here we go. So I have done some of the pumpkins and some of the bats. And I am using colors from my stash. So I can't remember what fabric I have. It's a grey Zweigart something, and I'm sorry, I can't remember what it is. But I am using, my orange I'm using 900. My grey I'm using 169. And then I'm using a 310 and white blanc. I'm not sure actually which DMC colors they called for, but the fabric was that they suggest is, I believe, a lighter grey. So I needed to make sure I had a grey that would show up. There we go. Before I left for the States, I started this, which is the Harvest Blessings. It's a small design that comes in the Coming to America. And I don't have all the called for colors on this because some of the things are out of stock a lot of places. It has DMCs and Classic Colorworks and Gentle Arts, and I mean, I don't know if there are any so I don't have a lot of the colors, so I've had to make some up. I haven't actually touched this since I've been back either, but I made a start on that in the days before I flew when I needed a break from packing. So I'm happy with that. I have not started Coming to America yet, partly because I'm really debating about the fabric. It calls for a vintage country mocha, and I couldn't get any here or the States when I was trying. So I'm just going to put it aside for a bit. And I bought a few other fabrics that I showed you in my last video, and maybe one of them will be used for that. Okay, so one of my stitch alongs, again, so far behind. Love to say one day that I'm just right on target with a stitch along. But here's my Roxy, which I usually allow myself to do on Sundays. I've finished up the eyelets and I've started this next alphabet. So I have a long way to go, but the nice thing about this is I'm really enjoying this. I have to say, with the Algerian eyelet, like, I really love the stitch and I don't mind doing it. I don't like doing a whole alphabet worth, but in fact, it's not the whole alphabet. I mean, for this one, it only goes to R. So you get a bit of a reprieve there. But I do have a long way to go. That has been my Sunday stitch for like a few months now, but I did go away for a month and I did spend the last 2 Sundays working on my new design that I'll show you in a minute. So I'm even further behind than I might have been. Okay, so Little Women Stitching Book Club. Again, I'm behind on that, but I knew I would be by losing a month. This is my Saturday stitch. So I have to finish the names, and I have to finish some bits down here, and then this. Oh, so I should really hold this up to something else, but I did not come prepared. This bit needs to go on this side, and then this is all sort of needs some flowery bits, I think. It's not too much more, but given that I only work on it one day of the week, it might be a couple weeks. But my goal, bearing in mind I still haven't finished Sense and Sensibility, I still have a bit to do with that. And if my Stitching Book Club is a Saturday thing, I'm not sure that I'll be done with these 2 in time for the next one. And I have signed up for the next one because in the beginning of the year you had the option of signing up for all 3, and then there's a 4th one that you couldn't sign up for. So in a group I signed up for Sense and Sensibility, Little Women, and The Great Gatsby. So that will be starting soon, and I don't think I'll be ready. So I need to put some effort in there. And my other new start. Now, I started this on my birthday. I thought, well, I'll try to do a new start on my birthday. And I picked one of my new charts, the Country Life, by Blackbird Designs. I love this. And I don't have any of the others in the series or anything like that. Well, not yet anyway. So I started this. My birthday was the 27th of August. So I worked on it just a couple of days. I am using the DMC colors. And one of the reasons why I put this down and haven't picked it up again since the last weekend of August is because I'm not 100% with the colors for the DMC. So I like these colors, but the green, which on here is, I believe it's a variegated color. It's bright. It's bright, but the DMC is this one. It's completely different from the chart, from the picture. I'm not showing this very well because of the lighting, but the green on here is a nice grassy green, and this is just too dark. However, when I look at the other greens that I have in my stash, they all seem too bright to go with these. So I'm going to have a think about changing out some of these, but having stitched the house, I'm reluctant to take the house out and change the house color, and perhaps to make the house color closer to what this is, which it sort of seems like the variations in are looking pinky, maybe salmon kind of color, to tan, and there's all different colors there. And so this is just a dark kind of mustardy color, which is completely different from pink and tan. So that's been my one kind of put away and think about later that I've been debating about. That's why I zipped up quite firmly. Think about that another time, because I have other things, so many other projects going, including my new design, which are these little Christmas stockings. So this is part 1 of the 12 Days of Christmas stockings, and I have finished them so that they actually are stockings and you can put some candy canes and things in them. And let me show them to you. So they're available on Etsy as a PDF, so they are available worldwide. I have a partridge in a pear tree, and I have finishing instructions will be on a separate video that you can watch. I finished these 4 with velvet on the back and some faux fur trim and just a velvet ribbon. And I get my Ada, I stitched them on Ada. They are full coverage, but they're on a white Ada 14 count. So I get my Ada and my ribbon and my velvet from backstitch.co.uk. But the faux fur I got from Michael's. And I think they are adorable. I do think that I would have really preferred to have I could have preferred to have a faux fur that was a creamy color, an ivory, but I couldn't find any when I looked far and wide. And I also really debated having the cuffs be velvet. So, but you could do them, you could back them with anything, with plaid, with any fabric, any sort of Christmassy thing. So 2 turtle doves and 3 French hens. All of these are cross stitches. There are a few back stitches on, let me go back to the partridge. Okay. There's a few back stitches here for the feathers, and then you need to put in the legs. Then the 2 turtle doves are just cross stitches. The French hens do have some stitches here that added on, and then the legs. And then they have French knots for their eyes. And then the 4 collie birds have just some back stitches because some of the birds are carrying some berries and they just have some stems, just some back stitches, but otherwise they're all cross stitches. So the PDFs will have the charts with symbols, with colors, the variations of the charts. And so this is part 1. Part 2 is due in mid-October, and part 3 is due in mid-November. And they are fairly quick, depending on how much you like doing sort of full coverage stitching. They can be fairly quick, so that they can be done in time for Christmas. And of course, the 12 days of Christmas are actually the 12 days after Christmas. They're the 12 days between Christmas and Epiphany, 12th night. So technically, you could have up until Christmas to do your stitching. I also, just to say, I did line them, and the instructions will show how to line them as well. I lined some of them with just an old pillowcase. I mean, not pillowcase, an old pillow. I used an old pillow that I had that I washed, and I opened it to take some of the stuffing out for some of my projects to reuse it. And I just found that the pillow casing was very thin and was great to use because nobody's really looking at the inside for the lining. But some of the lining is just some lining. I had some green lining material left over from another project, and they're all very fluffy. I need to get the lint brush out. Everything's really fluffy because of the faux fur is still shedding a bit after being cut. So I think that's all I'm going to share with you today with my stitching and my projects. I'd like to just share just a little bit about what I've been up to watching different Flosstubers and things. It's more of the same. While I was in the States, I didn't actually get to watch much Flosstube because the house I was staying in had not very good Wi-Fi in various rooms. So I wasn't able to watch a lot, and you know, that's a good thing. We all need a break from things. I got lots of swimming in and, you know, hanging out with the kids and stuff, so that was really good. But since I've been back, I've been able to catch up with Mama Loves You GB, Bumble Stitches, the Backstitch. They put up, not Flosstubes, but they put up videos and things like that on Facebook and Instagram with some of their new stock, things like that. And I should have written them down. I always write them down, and this is where I'm gonna run into trouble this time. Okay, so Just Keep Stitching, Country Stitchers, I don't know who else, just lots of lovely people. Modern Folk Embroidery, and I'll have to write them down next time. So what I've been doing while I'm stitching, instead of always watching Flosstube, I also do things like watch old episodes of Murder, She Wrote. I catch up with the Bible in the Year podcast by Father Mike Schmitz, and I'm so far behind on that. I'm about, 40 days behind. So I could just put that on for an hour and just get a few episodes in to try to catch up. And that's been really good. And yeah, mostly what we've been doing around here is enjoying the sort of September. We get this strange weather in the UK. So I heard that the weather was really cold when I was away in August, and it was in the 80s and 90s in North Carolina. And back here, it's sort of 50s and 60s sometimes. And I came back, literally, I left at 90 degrees and came back and it was 60. And it was just seemed really cold, and it was grey and dismal for a week. But then a week later, we had this day, and it was like in the 80s, and we went to the beach, and it was brilliant. And some things are getting ready in the garden. So I have I had my first tomato just 2 days ago, my first red tomato for the year in September. And I'm not sure, there's so many green tomatoes on there. And I imagine that the weather is going to cool down again. So I'm not sure how many of them will go, but I'm going to have to learn how to do some sort of, fried green tomatoes or green tomato relish or something like that. If anybody knows of recipes or something I could do with my green tomatoes, please let me know. I've got loads of lovely Victoria plums, so I've made some plum jam, and we've had blackberries and raspberries and lots of lovely things. My garden, I didn't do a lot in my garden this year because I knew I'd be away, so I have some potatoes to dig up, and I have a whole bunch of green tomatoes. And I think that's all for this week. Soon I should be back to you with another video with some of the stitching that I do for the next couple of weeks. And now that I've put these aside for now that I've finished these, I am working on the next ones, but I should be able to get to some of my other projects that I've been leaving aside for now. And I really want to do a few new starts for the Halloween, autumn, maybe Thanksgiving time. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you really soon.